Hey guys, this is Delaney of BreatheInSounds, and if you were watching last week, then you know that last week was Warp Week. And I said in the video from last Friday that I would be going to Warped Tour at Tinley Park on Saturday, and today is Monday, so yeah, that happened. And this week is Worst Week, and for a while I wasn't sure what concert to talk about, because I've had like bad experiences at like a bunch of different concerts, but I've never had like a worst concert. So I wasn't really sure. And then Warped Tour happened, and I guess bad things happened there, and it was kind of interesting. So it qualifies for a worst concert, I guess, that we could talk about. But I just like to say first off that I had a lot of fun at Warped Tour despite everything that happened, everything that I'm going to share. Like, I still had a great time, and it was still like amazing, and I'd still live through everything that happened just to go again. And I might be going with Jenna tomorrow at Milwaukee Warped Tour. So hopefully I'll have another story. I don't know. But let's get into the story. So I went with two of my other friends, not including Jenna because she wasn't in town. So I went with two of my other friends, and we got there and we got in right away. And we got in and we saw Issues, and then we met Nick Major, and we walked around and we bought some merch, and I bought this Real Friends hat that I'm super obsessed with right now and I'm probably never going to take it off. And then we chilled and we saw water parks and probably someone else, I'm not really sure. And then we went walking around again, and one of my friends, she had other friends that were going to be there that wanted to see a different kind of music than my other friend and I wanted to see. So we let her go. And my other friend and I went back to the pavilion, and we were going to wait in the pavilion and save our spot to see Knuckle Puck because they were going to play, and then the three of us all together were going to see Knuckle Puck together. So, you know, my other friend and I waited in there, and then the other friend that went to go see Motionless in White, I think it was, something, I don't know, she came back, and we all were in like, so in the pavilion there's like the open area, and there's like rows of chairs, and we were in, there was a first row of chairs and there was a second row of chairs, and we were like in the second row of chairs all the way to the left because they were shady stuff's going down outside. So Knuckle Puck was playing on the right side of the stage, on the Poseidon side of the stage, so we were on the right side of the stage, second row all the way to the left, so we were right in front of them. And then we stood up on the chairs to see over the heads of the people in the crowd. So, you know, that was cool. And it was the three of us. And then the row in front of us, the chair that was like all the way to the left opened up. And my friend that saw Motionless in White, she's like, oh, I'm going to go stand there. So she stood there, and then we had an empty chair right next to us, and we put our bags there. And there was this guy that came in. For the purpose of the story, let's call him Henry. So Henry came in, and he was like standing on the ground, and he like looked super into it, like he was singing every word. I'm like, okay, he's a good fan, so I'm gonna move my bags from that chair next to me to my chair and my friend next to me's chair, so he could stand up. So I cleared the area and I let him stand up, and he's like, thanks, and I'm like, yeah, okay. So then we kept on, you know, watching Knuckle Puck, and it was a really good show, and they were really, really good. And Dan from Real Friends came out, and it was definitely really cool. And like my friend and I, we kept on turning to Henry, we kept on saying like, oh my gosh, this is such a good show, like stuff like that, you know. And then after the set, we were kind of talking to Henry, and he's like, where are you guys going next? Like, you know, my friends ditched me, so I'm not really sure what to do, like I don't know who to hang out with. So we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna just go see 303, like you could come see them with us if you wanted to. So that was all really chill. So we just, we walked from the Poseidon stage, which was in the amphitheater, to Journey's Right Foot, which is where 303 was playing. So, you know, we got there, we got pretty close. There's people that were kind of like bitchy around us, you know, but like that's okay, that kind of happens. And it was hot, and everyone was probably tired, so we were just like, whatever. So, you know, 303 goes on, and I don't know if anyone's familiar with 303's music. So, you know, we were listening to them, and they have like a nice beat, so you're kind of like, you know, jamming to it. And so Henry was right behind me. So I was with 2 friends, and then it was me, and then it was Henry, and he ended up behind me because everyone was so sandwiched together and wouldn't let him through. So, you know, 303 was playing, and I was kind of like jamming and stuff. And I'm wearing these like black fabric shorts. And like I feel some like pulls on it on Henry's side. And at first I'm like, oh, like it must just be like, you know, we're all really close. He must be like just bumping into me or something, whatever. But like, no, he was like pulling on my shorts. And I'm like, what? Like, are you trying to take them off of me? We're in a crowd. Like, okay. Or are you trying to get my attention? Or I don't know what was going through his head. But, you know, he was pulling on my shorts. And then I get some touches on the butt from him. I'm like, okay. Like, we're seeing 303 at Warped Tour currently. Like, I'm not gonna grind with you, okay? Like, so chill if that's what you're looking for. Like, stop touching my booty, okay? I felt pretty uncomfortable with that. Cause it's just not cool, you know? Like, I don't mind, like, I'm used to people touching my butt, cause, you know, I have a pretty sizable butt, and, it tends to get, like, just, like, touched or brushed up, against at concerts, all the time when you're really close to people. Like, you know, it happens, but, like, he was grabbing me. So, you know, it wasn't just like a subtle touch, it was more of a grab. So I was kind of really uncomfortable with that. And I feel like I have a deep respect for myself, and I feel like I deserve better than some guy at a concert that I met like 15 minutes ago that's just grabbing at my butt during 303, out of all bands, 303. So, you know, that happened. And then 303 went off, and then my friend's phone was dying, so we had to go to his charging station to charge up, and I got like some Dippin' Dots or whatever I got. Yeah, it was Dippin' Dots, just to stay, you know, fueled and energized. In hindsight, I probably should have eaten some real food, because I brought my little snack bag and I brought pretzels, and again, in hindsight, that was probably not a good choice, because pretzels make your mouth like really dry, and we kept on having to hydrate, and then we kept on like sweating out everything we were drinking, so it was not the healthiest situation to be in, I suppose. So, you know, we were talking about who we were going to see, and my one friend, that she didn't see Motionless in White. She went to a meet and greet or whatever, I believe, and then she's like, yeah, I need to see Motionless in White. And my other friend and I were like, and then Henry was like, oh yeah, I like them, like I'd like to see them too. And then my other friend and I, who weren't going to see Motionless in White, we were like, okay, Real Friends is playing, so we wanted to go see them. They were playing at Right Foot, so we wanted to go back and see them. And Henry's like, oh yeah, I want to see Real Friends too. He's like, I don't know which band I want to see, Motionless in White or Real Friends. And guess who he went to go see? He went to go see Real Friends with me and my other friend. So that was great. So we get to go see Real Friends, and they were really good, and it was the second time I saw them, but the first time that I saw them in like a actual like concert setting, because the first time I saw them that was at Reckless Records, and it was just a big open room, and I was basically like this close to them. So that was really cool. That's a really interesting story to talk about sometime. But so yeah, Real Friends was like, we're playing on an actual stage, and we were actually in the crowd, you know, seeing them. And when we got there, it was my friend Henry and myself, and Henry was like really, really close to me. And the guys, like everyone around us was kind of smoking pot, and you know, like I have nothing against that, like go ahead. So everyone was like kind of high, and these guys in front of us kept on like turning around and like saying like to Henry like, yeah man, like stuff like that. So like Henry must have been like saying stuff or doing stuff behind me, and I kind of felt uncomfortable with that. So I looped around Henry and go to my friend, and I like pretend to like talk to her. I pretend that I have a super important story that I needed to tell her, and it couldn't wait till the end of Real Friends set. So I go around to talk to her just to get away from Henry, because I was kind of like feeling uncomfortable, especially after like the booty grabbing and then like the high guys around us that were kind of, you know, reacting to him or whatever he was doing behind me that I didn't know he was doing. So I just kind of felt uncomfortable with that whole situation. I was starting to not feel great because I was sweating out every single liquid that I put in myself, and I didn't eat any real food besides pretzels and Dippin' Dots, and that's not really stuff that you can live off of, especially at a concert like Warped Tour. You know, and then people start like leaving during Real Friends set, so then we move forward. And then as we move forward, Henry loops around again to me, and he's standing so close to me. I'm just like, shit, like I don't want him to ruin my time. Like I love Real Friends, so I'm just singing their songs and I just don't want him to ruin it. And I start like tearing up. I don't know if it was because I was hot, tired, and hungry and not feeling good, and Henry was kind of creeping on me. Also, a contributing factor could have been like Dan on stage. He was talking about like stuff that really had resonated with me at the time. He was like, yeah, like no matter how insignificant and small you feel in the world, like your voice matters, you matter, stuff like that. So I was kind of like teary-eyed at that point, just kind of like having it. It was at that point in the concert that I've talked about this before, when you're like I just want this to be over, even though I'm enjoying myself 100%, even though I'm having a great time. I just kind of want this to be over because I don't feel fantastic. And then Dan on stage, he was like, okay, let's start a circle pit, you know? So Henry was like, oh, I really want to join that. And my friend and I were like, okay, go ahead. So he leaves. He's like, okay, wait for me after the show, after their set. I'm like, okay. And then he leaves, and it was during Real Friends' last song, and it was towards the end of the song, and I'm like, I turned to my friend, and I'm like, okay, we need to leave. I feel uncomfortable. I don't want him to follow us around anymore, because he was totally like following us around. I was getting weird vibes. I didn't like the fact that he was grabbing on me. He was also high. He was smoking, and I just didn't feel comfortable around him anymore. So I'm like, yeah, we gotta ditch this dude. So we kind of run off, and we go back to the pavilion just to sit down and chill. And then I started feeling like really sick. Like I felt awful. Like I was hot, tired, upset. I felt like I had a really bad headache. I felt like I was gonna throw up. So I have my wallet and I like hand my friend money. I'm like, here, can you give me like a lemonade and like a soft pretzel or something to eat, or like whatever you want to eat as well. Like I don't care. Just take my money and give me something, please. So I just like sit there, and she leaves. And I'm just like listening to the band that's on stage, you know, sitting all the way in the back with like, in the section that we were at, there weren't a lot of people because obviously if you wanted to see the band that was playing there, you'd be up front. So there was like maybe like 15 people around our section. It was a huge section. There weren't a lot of people, so I was just chilling there. I just felt so bad, and it was so hot, and I started to get goosebumps, and I'm like, this can't be good. Like, it's hot as hell. Like, I shouldn't be getting goosebumps. I shouldn't be reacting this way. I just felt so sick. I took an Advil. And my friend comes back, and I started drinking the lemonade, and I started, like, slowly nibbling on the pretzel, because at that point, I could not, like, force myself to eat. Like, I wasn't having it. My body was like, nope, like, I don't want this food in your body. So I'm like, oh God, this is terrible. Like, this is so shitty. And then I turned to my friend, like, I just can't take it anymore. So I turned to my friend, I'm like, okay, we need to like head to the bathroom or something. And she's like, yeah, okay. She could tell that I was just not feeling good and I needed to get out there. So I stand up, and then I start turning to head out, and I get sick. And I don't want to gross anyone out, so I'm just going to say I got sick, but hopefully you know what I mean when I say I got sick, because I got sick. But honestly, in hindsight, it could have been a lot worse. I could have gotten sick in a crowd, and if I got sick on another person, I would have started crying. Like, I would have lost it. So, like, you know, I got sick, and then everyone around me was like, and I was like, so I started like leaving, and I seriously apologized to every single person that had watched me get sick, because I felt so bad for them. I know it's disgusting, and I just like don't feel great, and I like hold my friend's hand for support, and we like run out to the bathroom. And I didn't get sick again, which was good. Like, by the time we got to the bathroom, I felt good. Like, the thing about getting sick is, like, after you do it, you feel a lot better. I know it sounds so gross, and I apologize to everyone that has to listen to this story right now. Like, I felt so much better afterwards. And I just, like, went to the bathroom. Across from the bathrooms, there's this big white tent that was really dark and shady. And there was a lot of fans going in there, and there was a lot of people in there. And you could tell that that was a tent for the people that weren't feeling so hot, as I wasn't feeling so hot after I got sick, you know. So my friend and I go in there, and that was a saving grace for me. Like, that tent was so good. It just felt so good. Like, I used my backpack as a pillow, and I laid down on the concrete, and the concrete was nice and cold. And it was just so nice. So my friend and I, you know, we just sat in there and talked. And before I had gotten sick, we planned on seeing Good Charlotte, and then later on State Champs, because State Champs were closing. They were playing at 8:20 and the doors closed at 9. So we're like, yeah, we're going to see State Champs, and then we're going to head out. And then I'm like, no, I can't do this. So we, like, text my other friend, we're like, we're going to have to leave, and we just, like, sit there for a while and, like, waiting, just kind of waiting it out just to make sure, like, I don't get sick again and I feel fine. My friend goes back and gets me a Sierra Mist, and that was a really good decision because it made me feel a whole lot better. But honestly, after laying there, I just felt so much better. But I knew, like, I couldn't push myself anymore. Like, I knew for my own sake and my own health that I needed to get out of there. I just knew that I had to miss Good Charlotte and I had to miss State Champs, which I was really bummed about. I felt kind of bad because it was my friends, both of them, it was their first time at Warped Tour, and I didn't really want to ruin their experience. But, you know, they kind of understood. They understood that, like, we needed to get out there. And at that point, this was, like, around 6:30, I'd say. And everyone started to clear out. Like, there was significantly, like, less people that were there at that point, and it started getting, like, really dark and cloudy, and you could tell that it was gonna, like, downpour at any second. So we're like, yeah, we should probably just head on out. So that is what we did. We left, and yeah, that was my worst concert experience. The worst things that have ever happened to me at a show happened at that show, so that's why I consider it my worst concert, show, festival experience. But like I said before, I had so much fun. Like, the bands that I saw, like Issues, Knuckle Puck, Water Parks, Real Friends, 303. It was all really good, despite, like, the guy that was kind of, like, stalking us. Like, they were all really good, and I had so much fun, and meeting Nick Major was really cool. It was a really good experience, despite what had happened. And I'm not really bummed about what happened. Like, I understand that, like, my body reacted the way I had been treating it. Like, I should have been better. I should have been drinking more fluids because they were just sweating out everything that I had drank. Everything that happened, and, like, I'm at peace with it. And honestly, right afterwards, after I had gotten sick, I was kind of laughing about it, you know? Even after, like, I had gone to the bathroom and I was in that really nice tent, like, I was kind of laughing about it. I'm like, this is kind of funny, and I didn't really feel upset about it. I knew that there had to be, like, out of all the people that went to Warped Tour, at least 100 people had gotten sick, just like me, because it was just so hot. Everything that had happened to me, like, it wasn't Warped Tour's fault, so I don't want anyone to be like, oh, like, after seeing this video, I don't want anyone to be like, oh, I'm never going to Warped Tour. Like, no, like, Warped Tour was amazing, and it wasn't Warped Tour's fault. It was my fault, for not taking care of myself. And for not being like, hey guy, get off of me, I'm uncomfortable with this situation. I probably should have told my friends beforehand so we could have gotten away from him. But, you know, it's okay. And I, like, honestly, in that tent that I was sitting in, I felt like Warped Tour was taking such good care of me. You know, like, there's people coming around making sure that everyone's okay. And I felt like, I feel like Warped Tour is there to take care of you. Like, they just want you to have a good time and stay safe and stay healthy. Like I said, I felt like Warped Tour was taking care of me because I always feel at home at Warped Tour. I feel like I'm surrounded by my people. I feel like I'm surrounded by, like, music that makes me happy. Like, music is definitely one of the most important things in my life, and it makes me the happiest. So I felt, like, really good and really taken care of and really in my element, even though bad things happened. So yeah, that's my experience that happened literally like 2 days ago. And that's my worst concert slash show slash festival experience. As always, like this, comment, subscribe, follow us on social media. Maybe in the comments down below you could talk about your experiences, your worst Warped Tour experiences, your best Warped Tour experience, any experience at all. I'd love to hear from other people about their experience because I think that's kind of cool. So thanks for watching, and see you guys later. Bye!